Hey everyone, Coach Jacinto here. Talking about, in this video, we're going to talk about how we utilize eccentric and isometric. Okay, so in the last video, we talked about utilizing sumo deadlifts and hip thrusts to really get those glutes going. So there's like 4 weeks, even up to 6 weeks of planning there where we're really focusing on sumo, where we're focusing, our focus is mainly the glutes. Okay, so now we'll go into more of an eccentric and isometric, and I'll talk about the benefits and why I like this right after that plan. Okay, so in this phase, the purpose is hypertrophy and proper technique. So eccentric really helps with both of those things. It really slows our student athletes down, and it really puts them under tension for a lot longer time. So, which helps with hypertrophy. Okay, and so let's talk a little bit about. These are the dates coming right off of that 4-week block that we talked about earlier. So from January 9th through February 23rd, here's our 3-day ISO and isometric, eccentric and isometric plan. Okay, so like I said, the purpose, hypertrophy and proper technique. Okay, it really slows our athletes down, which causes them to really focus on technique. So this way, before we even really start to load them, we've already practiced. We're practicing, slowing them down with the eccentric to where eventually we can get them to load them into our max where they're testing for 1 RMs, okay? So here are some parameters. So this is something that I adapted from Simply Faster. They have an awesome article on their website that you can look up. But these are some parameters that I found on there that I borrowed from their article, okay? So recommended parameters, you can look at this here. You can reference their article also if you want to learn a little bit more. But I'm going to show you how we kind of put these together. Okay, so let's say, for example, day 1. So here's our back squat. Okay, our tempo is 5 seconds down, 1 second hold, and then explode up. Okay, so we'll go reps of 6. So we'll go first set 6, second set 6 at 60%. Approximate 60%. Most of them won't know what their 1 RM is. Maybe our older ones will, older student athletes will, but they gives them a good idea of where to be. So we'll go first week, 4 sets of 6 with a 5 second down, 1 second hold, and explode up. Now the great thing about this is it really slows them down, okay? And they really focus on technique. And you'll be surprised, they really hold each other accountable, okay, on this. And they'll really focus on getting it right, because what I'll tell them is like, okay, hey, in 6 more weeks, we're gonna max out. And if you can't practice your technique, and if you don't have your technique down, you're not gonna max out. So this is a great time for you to practice and do things right. And then there's so much benefits that are gonna come from you doing the eccentric work the right way that you won't even know that, okay? And a lot of them, all you have to tell them is that they won't be able to max out, and they'll really practice their technique, okay? So week 1 and week 2 is a 3 second down, no hold, explode up. 3 second down, so it's a 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, explode up. By that time, usually they're coming all the way down, okay? Even if they had practice at week 1, right? So then we go into our isometric. So week 3, we go CS, which is our controlled speed, okay? We want you to drop down with some speed. I want you to control it. So our older athletes are obviously going to be able to drop a lot faster than our younger athletes, which is totally fine. Some of our older athletes, when they drop, you can really hear that weight rattle, which is what we want, okay? So they're dropping down into that isometric position. They're holding for 3 seconds, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3, and then exploding up, okay? Yes, it's not your traditional isometric where you're pushing into something that's not moving, okay? But our focus here is the drop and hold in that hole, okay? And then exploding up. Now, Cal Dietz, this is very much his, the triphasic method of training. He talks about the athletes that can absorb more force can produce more force. So this is why I love this, right? So if you can drop at speed, you're able to absorb more force, and eventually we're going to be able to produce more power and force as we go along, okay? So 3-second hold for week 4, controlled speed down, hold for 2 seconds, and explode up. And you can see the different rep schemes that are here, and then we pair it up with our footwork, okay? So you can see here with our footwork, for a week 1 and week 3, we do an isometric hold with weight, okay? And then, like I said, I borrowed this from Cal Dietz as well. So we're pairing these two things up, okay? And then week 2 and week 4, we're just doing some heel raises, okay? With some weight, all right? Like I said, so the foot is so often neglected, but it's so important. I mean, it's the first thing that touches the ground, okay? So why are we not utilizing, why are we not working the foot, okay? So this is why I like to pair those two exercises together. And as you can see, we go, for day 2 is our bench press. We do the same thing with our bench press. Same parameters, same methods. So week 1 and week 2, we do an eccentric. Week 3 and week 4, we do an isometric, okay? With the same tempo, all right? Those are the only 2 exercises that would use those, but you can do them with anything. I mean, you can do them with your single arm rows, you can do them with your front squats, or any other exercises that you're doing. But for us, we're just doing them with these 2, just because I really want to focus on those 2 exercises and doing them properly, okay? And all the benefits that come with that. Okay, so that kind of goes over how we utilize the eccentric and isometric plan. As you can see, I like to use it twice throughout the year. So 8 weeks total, okay? So 8 total weeks throughout the year, okay? So I like to use one right after our sumo deadlift plan. I like to come into that with our eccentric and isometric, and then also like to do it right before we start our preseason training during the summer for our football players, okay? Now, the great thing about these plans is that you can kind of maneuver them depending on your athlete and what season you want to use, okay? Right now, this timeline is more for your fall athlete, okay? But I will talk more on another video of how we can maneuver these same blocks for all of our athletes, okay? So next video, we'll talk about our strength plan. The next plan we do use 11 total weeks, so a little bit more. But on the next one, I'll talk about how we do reps and schemes, volume. Yeah, so we'll talk about those things coming up, all right? So thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you soon.